again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to a transfer special. Alex Palmer from West Brom, £2 million transfer swoop, a goalkeeper. It's what many fans have been asking for. Let us know your thoughts and feelings in our comment section, and don't forget we are partnered with the East Anglian Air Ambulance. If you want to help save lives, have the chance to win £1,000 every week, play the East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery. By playing for just £1 each week, you're helping to keep the yellow helicopters flying. The East Anglian Air Ambulance Lottery creates 18 winners every week with prizes ranging from £50 to £1,000. Over 18s only. T's and C's apply. See our description, see our link, but please, whatever you do, please gamble responsibly. So yeah, Alex Palmer, West Brom, the replacement potentially that many town fans were asking for. Will he come in and be number two? Well, to help me unpack it all, I have got our resident West Brom fan, Chris Hall, joining me. Chris, welcome into the platform. We'll come back to West Brom to pick another player.
I mean, mate, it's getting ridiculous now. I mean, you know, I love coming on this show, but bloody hell, there's other clubs in the Championship. You know what we at now? Raheem Harper, Kyle Edwards. I mean, you didn't take Dar O'Shea directly off us, but Connor Townsend, now Alex Palmer. Like I say, I mean, did you only get the sort of like the letter W in your Championship compendium or something like that, and you didn't fancy anyone at Watford? Is that what this is?
It's the scouting package. Only goes as far as the Midlands, you see. Ashton's old stumping ground. And you meant, several players we've had from you already. We were linked with another one, which I know would have upset you. Everton have this afternoon sort of had a £10 million bid accepted for him, I believe.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
No? Right.
Come on, if you're going to start believing Alan Nixon, you might as well believe in the Tooth Fairy, for crying out loud.
I just thought I'd reel you in.
Ridiculous. Well, a slightly more reliable source has said that the £15 million bid has been rejected, which I find a lot more believable. We rejected 11 in the summer, so nobody in their right mind is surely going to come with 10. Like, you know, why go a million lower when
we were linked ourselves, weren't we?
And I mean, and let's be fair, you don't have enough wingers, do you? So it's like
we can't do a 1 to 11.
I mean, you are literally just going to play sort of like lines down the side. Just leave that big ugly middle area alone. You don't want to touch that. Yeah,
well, we're desperate for a central midfield player, so if you've got one of those that we could also have off you while we're picking over the West Brom transfer target.
I mean, it's a shame you missed out on Euros Ratchich. Yeah, you could. I'd have driven in myself.
But there you go. But Alex Palmer, £2 million is the fee that's been reported more or less everywhere I've seen. Is that accurate?
Well, I think it's one of those. To be honest with you, Gov, it's one of those. It's the same as any transfer nowadays. There isn't one number. I'm pretty confident that it's 2 million upfront that you're giving us. I think I think the reason that the number 5 has been kicked around a little bit is I think there's potential built into the transfer for it to go to 5, but I think it's the same as any transfer. It almost never goes to the full amount. Like you kind of, the player and the club have to do some really like quite outlandish things like stay up, but all joking aside, I mean, realistically speaking, you would be one of the favourites to go down at the moment, and if a fair chunk of the add-ons built in are based upon you staying in the Premier League, then there's a chance we don't see that money. So I think if you want to talk guaranteed money, I think £2 million is definitely what we're getting here and now in a nice fat briefcase. I think if Alex Palmer does very well for yourselves, and if you do manage to get yourself out of the bother that you're in and stay in the league, I think there's a chance that the transfer will rise a bit higher than that. But then that's true of every transfer nowadays. There's never one number in a transfer. There's never one number in a player's contract. There's all sorts of add-ons in football, and agents and recruitment teams and everything aren't doing their job if there's not.
Don't mention recruitment and goalkeepers in the same breath. It's been a hot topic among town fans over the last couple of weeks. But £2 million from the outside looking in, Chris, for a Championship Golden Glove winner last season, 18 clean sheets, or as he came through your academy. That seems like, from my perspective, a steal What can you tell us about Alex Palmer?
Yeah, I mean, look, he is a good player, and I'm certainly not gonna play him down just because he's left the Albion. What I would say is that you have to take Golden Glove winners with a pinch of salt, because a lot of that is to do with the players in front of them, the tactics of the team. He played for a Carlos Corberán team. We did not give up many chances. We were the only team to stop you having a shot on target for about 2 years. So Alex Palmer can't concede a goal if there's not a shot on target. So would I sit here and say Alex Palmer was the best goalkeeper in the division last season? No, I wouldn't. Okay. Would I say he's one of the best? Yes, but I don't think he was. I mean, I look around and see someone like Mads Hermansson, who's doing really well in the Premier League now, and in a struggling team. And then I think, yeah, he was a better goalkeeper than Alex last season. The clean sheets don't really tell you the full story. I think what you see from Alex is a pretty consistent goalkeeper. He generally, most of the time, tends to perform in and around his expected goals against, which obviously measures the quality of shots and whether or not he should save them. He's actually plus 3.1 at the moment. So I mean, he's there or thereabouts. I mean, he's pretty much conceding what he should do, and he has been for a few seasons. That's largely because he is very, very consistent most of the time, and then every now and then he lets a mad one past him. We actually entitled a pod last season Near Post Nightmares, which was pretty much a discussion about Alex Palmer and how he just started to get done at his near post. I don't know whether he listens to the pod, but he's ironed that out of his game since, which is nice to see. But there's just little moments where you question him. Like the goal at Middlesbrough, which Hayden Hackney scored from like over 30 yards, and you just think, how's he got beaten from there? It's a good hit, but surely he should be moving his feet a little bit quicker. And then on Saturday, the winner against Plymouth, he rushes out to close the angle down when the angle's already bad for Ryan Hardy, and it's like, just extend yourself and you can cover pretty much the part of the goal that Ryan Hardy can hit anyway if you stay on your line. You don't need to go rushing out. So there's little moments like that, but equally in the same game he pulls off what can only be described as a world-class save from Michael Obafemi, and that's kind of what you get from Alex Palmer. He's not Chris Packets for gloves like you've got at the moment with Muric, and we all saw what he was about at the weekend. I think Palmer will make more good saves than he will let in howlers, to be honest with you. But then again, the data tends to suggest that the old adage of it evens itself out over a season, Alex Palmer tends to even himself out over the season. So he'll make a worldie, but then he'll let a howler in, and it's sort of it's one of those. He's not 100% consistent, but then again, you wouldn't be getting him for £2 million up front as a 26-year-old from the Championship if he was, and he wouldn't have been playing in the Championship for us, and he wouldn't have been on loan at Plymouth and places like that before we had him back. If he was like this kid prodigy, he hasn't played at England youth levels and stuff like that. He's been a bit of a late developer into the Albion side, but he's made a massive difference for us, not least because David Button was the man that went before him. And frankly, I could have made a massive difference in that sense, but he has made a huge difference. He is a good goalkeeper. All I'm saying is you haven't for me, you haven't gone and found this sort of like crazy prodigy. I think you've picked up a goalkeeper that is going to be more consistent than the one you've got, and is but equally is not perfect, and he is going to have little moments where you're going to ask a question of how he's let that one in there, and he's untried in the Premier League, and that's worth saying as well. And I've got to be honest, I wouldn't have him naff about with it at the back either, because his kicking is not the strongest part of his game.
I was going to ask about his distribution. Is that a part of his game, or is he more of what I would call an old-fashioned goalkeeper, where he's going to be, hitting the halfway line more times than he's looking to play a 1-2 with his centre half, centre midfield pairing, etc.?
No, because we don't play like that, and we haven't got a big man up front to hit. I mean, he's got more of a target up front to hit for Town with Delap up there than he's ever had at Albion. So no, we don't go long from our goal kicks. It's very, very rare that we do that. He likes the clip ball out to the fullback, normally to Darnell Furlong. To be honest with you, he'll give you kittens. He sometimes takes an extremely long time to do something on the ball. If it, I don't know whether it's instructions from the manager or what, but there's moments where he just doesn't want to go long, and nothing's on, and you just think, you're going to have to get rid of this, Alex. And he waits, and the forward's on top of him, and you're having absolute kittens in the stand. And quite a lot of the time, to be fair to him, he gets away with it. But he's had moments where he's sort of like, he's given the ball away and he shouldn't. But you find as well with Alex, it's some days his kicking can be really, really good, and those diagonals to Darnell Furlong were on point and everything like that. Other days, it's like if the first one goes sailing out of play, so will the next three. And he had a game earlier in the season. I can't for the life of me remember who it was against, but I remember he just had a mare, like, and you just kind of felt that things had got on top of him a little bit. And what I would say to Town fans, and because it's easier for us as Albion fans to do this, because he's one of our own. He's come through the academy. He loves the club. He turned down Luton in the Premier League last season because he wanted to play as Albion's number one. He does the boing boing in front of the fans. He's a proper fan. So we stick with Alex when he makes mistakes. Stick with him, because he is a good goalkeeper. Don't break him down, because if you do get on top of him, I've seen it happen. He can have his confidence broken down, and he needs the supporters to stay with him, because Alex Palmer is most confident, is an unbelievable goalkeeper. He will ping diagonals for you. He will pull shots off. Shot saves off that you don't think are possible. He'll come. He's taken to punching a lot more than catching this season, which is a modern phenomenon. And I don't love it, but
no, me neither.
It seems to be the way. But he at least he'll come for stuff. Whether he catches it or he punches it, he'll come for stuff. But I'll tell you right now, if Alex Palmer's confidence gets knocked down, one shot in the corner will turn into 2 and 3 in the next sort of month. And, and sort of like one bad kick in a game will turn into 2 or 3. So stick with him. If you want to see the best out of Alex Palmer, don't get on his back, because
lift him up more than
he's very much an arm around the shoulder type goalkeeper, rather than scream and shout at him over stuff. 100%.
So you mentioned he comes for crosses. In terms of he punches instead of catches, but would you say that's a strength of his? What other strengths has he got as a goalkeeper? And equally, every strength you have to have a weakness. What's a couple of weaknesses in the game that Town fans should look out for?
As I say, I think his primary weakness is that when he. That things can snowball for him a little bit sometimes. That when he gets in, it gets in a little bit of a rut. It tends to happen more in a game than over a series of games. Do you know what I mean? I think Alex. I don't know what his sort of like support network is like or whatever, but it seems like he's a kind of guy who can go home, get the game out of his system, and come back and be ready to go again. But over the course of 90 minutes, if things start to go a little bit wrong for him, it can it can snowball a little bit. So I think that's his primary weakness. In terms of his strengths, look, when he's at his best, he's a goalkeeper that can win you games. His shot stopping, some of his reactionary shot stopping is absolutely unreal. I don't think I don't know who your goalkeeper coach is there, but I think he probably
Rennie Gilmartin.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he's any good or not, but I think Palmer could do with possibly a little bit more coaching, because some of the things reactionary he does, in terms of not reactionary, his reactions, his actual sort of like shot stopping reactions are brilliant, but occasionally he just does something positionally that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Yeah.
But that can be taught. If you've got a good goalkeeping coach, you can probably, you can coach that into him. Whether you can coach into him the confidence and the mindset to sort of like be rock solid in games, only time will tell. It would take somebody much closer to Alex than me to be able to answer that question. But like I say, what I would say is, when he is at his best, he wins you football matches. He's unreal. And some of his shot stopping, and let's be fair, you face a lot of shots in the Premier League because any team in the bottom half does, and Alex Palmer, he makes that first save, and you watch, he'll make the second, and he'll make the third, and he'll make the fourth, and like even the Portsmouth goal when we were 5-0 up, like the first shot is from about 5 yards, and Palmer makes this reaction save to stop it going in, and unfortunately he can only palm it one place, and the guy tucks it in. But it's like even moments like that, you think, wow, what, okay, it's ended up in the back of the net. There's nothing he can do about that. But what an initial save. Some of his reflexes are absolutely unreal. But he needs that belief. He needs that confidence. He needs to feel loved. And I hope the town fans give him that. And I hope they stay patient with him, because I know goalkeepers have given you a lot of reasons to feel jittery over the last sort of like 6-7 months.
You could say that.
Yeah. Yep. Don't sort of project those feelings onto Alex Palmer, because it'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you start believing this guy will mess up, I think he probably will mess up.
Yeah, it will snowball.
But if you believe in him, some of his reaction saves will leave you sort of startled. And look, I'm telling you right now, Alex Palmer doesn't lose you that game on Saturday. He doesn't palm that ball straight out to Onuachu. I'm telling you now, like because that's not Alex Palmer. Like Alex Palmer in that moment makes that save, and that will be the difference between not just 1 point for you, but Southampton not having 2 more, and that's massive.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think a lot of what from what you're saying is going to be music to a lot of town fans' ears, and I'm looking forward to seeing the player even more so now, thanks to your wonderful insight. But I couldn't let you go without, of course, mentioning who your manager is, your new manager, town legend, Tony Mowbray. How great is it to see Mogga back in the dressing room, back in the dugout? Just tell us a little bit about what it's like under Mowbray, please.
Oh, I mean, he's just Tony Mowbray, isn't he? I mean, like, first of all, it's just so amazing to see him back. Like, I mean, I think there's an element where, like, unless you're sort of like Wolves or Villa or maybe Stoke or whatever, I think we've suddenly become a lot of people's second team just because they want to see the manager succeed after everything he's gone through. And why wouldn't you? To have gone through what he's gone through, and to come out the other side, and to come back into management, and to come back with the same desire, the same hunger, just being the same guy, like, is amazing, because Tony Mowbray is not. He's not a young man, like, in football terms. It would have been very easy for him to just go, look, I've been through a lot, and maybe I'll just walk away, because football management is stressful. It takes its toll on you, and like the easy thing to do would have been to just go, Yeah, that's me. Like, I've fought that battle. I don't need to fight a battle every 7 days or every 3 days as it is in the Championship. But the guy just loves football, and he just wants to be a part of the game. And I think he said it himself. Like, it's the only thing he's known since he was a little kid. And I don't think he can imagine not being a part of the industry. And the way he's talked since he's come back into the club is just amazing. Like, he's so open and honest. Like, he talks to the fans like they're equals in interviews. Just doesn't hold anything back. And the way he's talked about the players, like he's told the players to find their inner child and remember that they were once the kid in their school who was the best player and ran rings around everybody else, and that they are one of the best teams in the Championship, and just to tap into that sort of confidence and belief that comes from being better than everybody else. And like, he's talked a lot about Grady doing Garner and stuff like that, and like how he loves to see Grady doing like no look passes and stuff like that. I mean, the George and Ali on Not the Top 20 said like most managers would lose their head if they saw people doing no look passes. It's the sort of thing that I remember, Gary Megson used to lose his head at on the touchline. Like, he just encourages that creativity, that belief, and he's got a real he's just got a real ideal of how the game should be played. And look, we'll win some games and we'll lose some games. We lost to a team on Saturday that haven't won since the 5th of November. And
not that feels like, don't worry.
Yeah, well, and it's and we'll have moments like that where we'll get undone, but at the same time, we'll also have moments where we go and beat teams 5-1 and just take them to the absolute cleaners. And I don't think it'll happen overnight. We're not gonna suddenly become a team that can be in there with the top 4, which have really pulled away from everybody else in this division. But what we will do is we'll have a lot of fun along the way, and we'll play enjoyable football. We won't win every week because we haven't got the money to do that. But I mean, I remember back to when I was at the club and Mogga was the manager the last time, and we've had our fair share of relegations from the Premier League. That's the only one I can ever remember actually enjoying as a season. Like, it was okay. We got beat most weeks, but we were going toe to toe with people, and we were just about coming out on the wrong side of it. And occasionally, when we played someone like Liverpool or Chelsea, we were coming very heavily out on the wrong side of it. But like, Mogga just went out to play enjoyable football. He didn't, and fair play to McKenna for not changing his philosophies as well. I know you won't want to be where you are in the league, but there really is something to be said for not coming into this league and just trying to batten down the hatches and see how few you can lose by, really, each week. And I respect the fact that whilst I find it a little bit odd that he hasn't kind of gone a bit more defensive. I also respect the fact that he's, even in this window, he's looking for more attacking options. He's looking for ways to score goals. And okay, he's brought in a couple of defenders, like Ben Godfrey's obviously brought in Palmer from us. But it seems like, your key focus in terms of investment is on players like Philogene and Enciso and people like that. And I think it's nice that it hasn't even occurred to Kieran McKenna that, maybe, just maybe, if I go a bit more defensive, that I've got a striker good enough in Liam Delap to win me a few games 1-0, because it's just not how he's built. Yeah. And it's not how Mowbray's built either. And I've got a lot of time for that. I've got a lot of respect for it. And I think there are parallels between Town and Albion, to be honest, because I said this when we hired Mowbray. When you look back on our season, when we won the title in, I think it was 07-08, and you look at, I think we scored 88 goals, but let in, I think it was 52, something like that. And then you look at what you finished on last season, and we're only a couple of goals different. And I can't find many other seasons where a team has got promoted conceding as many goals as you did. that last year, and I can't find many other seasons where a team has got promoted conceding as many goals as we did under Mowbray.
Yeah,
and you know,
and
it is, and it's a little bit chaotic, and it's a little bit it's very risky. And you will lose games that you shouldn't lose doing it, and you did. I remember the Cardiff game last season, and thinking,
yes,
just shut up shop at 1-0, and you didn't.
No.
But it's fun, and in the end, football's entertainment,
and that's the key.
Why shouldn't it be fun?
Absolutely, yeah. And you won't find a fan base that loves Tony Mowbray more than this one. I'm sure the West Brom fans are equally as up there, but we are devoted to the man and wish him nothing but the best. But Chris, Albion Analysis, you can check him out on X, wherever you get your podcasts normally. Go and check Chris out and check out what they produce over there. We also partner with Stowmarket Osteopaths, 01449 613 633. Give Freddie a call. Stowmarket Osteopaths, 01449 613 633. Physiotherapy and osteopath services. But Chris, we're done. We're dusted. Thank you so much for jumping into the hot seat at short notice for us. We really appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks. And look, I mean, mate, there's what, at the time of recording, like a couple of hours left of this window. So I might be back on in an hour and a half. So let's say till we meet again, rather than goodbye, sir.
Well, in some point, after Saturday, we probably shall meet again very soon. But until then, we will go, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Thanks ever so much. Bye bye.